Let me tell you something most people will never understand. Fearless ambition is the code that changes your destiny forever. The world loves to talk about dreams, but listen closely, because only a handful of people ever summon the courage to chase those dreams with ruthless intent. The crowd lets fear dictate the limits of their ambition. Champions use their ambition to crush fear underfoot. When you pursue your vision without holding back, without second-guessing, and without flinching at the risks, you become a force so powerful that the universe has no choice but to respond. Here's the hook. Imagine waking up every morning hungry, not for safety, but for opportunity. What if every obstacle became your blueprint for victory? Most will hesitate at the first sign of discomfort, imagining worst-case scenarios, listening to the doubters, letting small minds whisper away their greatness. You've got to flip the script, make fear irrelevant. Let ambition be your fuel, your compass, and your armor. Champions face uncertainty like warriors, bold, driven, and eager to test how far they can go. Fearless ambition means kicking out the excuses and attacking the next goal. You make your vision louder than every fear, every criticism, every potential failure. The average will say, slow down, or be realistic, or play it safe. But you don't want average results. Your life was never meant for small wins. You were born to break rules, to outlast the timid, to make your ambition contagious. Champions build empires from the ruins of risk. Every leap into the unknown adds strength, wisdom, and command over your future. True ambition conquers fear. Make your vision bigger than every doubt and hesitation. In the relentless pursuit of greatness, it's never the obstacles outside that cripple you, but the silent fears and hesitations that brew inside the mind. Walk into any room of high performers, and the secret separating the legends from the crowd isn't talent, luck, or connections. It's the ability to let ambition dominate every trace of doubt. While the masses narrate chapters of what might go wrong, champions are scribbling their vision on the walls, letting audacious goals drown out the voices of anxiety and worry. Here's the hook. Imagine if every time fear started whispering limits, your ambition grew louder, sharper, and bolder. The truth is, most people let hesitation decide their destiny. They want safety nets, guarantees before they leap, even if it means trading their best shots for comfort. But when your ambition eclipses fear, you step into a different game. No obstacle looks unbeatable when the picture in your mind is painted with nothing but wins, pride, and impact. The universe never rewards caution. It rewards the bold, the reckless, the unapologetically ambitious. You have to train your mind to see every fear as a signpost to where victory waits. Champions smile at discomfort because behind the pain is acceleration. Most let fear shrink their ideas until they fit in someone else's average-sized box. Winners rip the box apart and demand space for their ambition to expand. They feed their vision with discipline, rituals, and self-belief that drowns out every inner critic. Doubt becomes just background noise. The main character is the will to win, and it takes center stage every time. Here's another hook. What would change if your ambition became so intense that nothing could silence it? Think about the clarity and energy you'd have if you obsessed more over your vision than your worries. Every time hesitation crops up, use it as a trigger. Remind yourself why your goals are non-negotiable, why small dreams will never satisfy you. Champions use fear as fuel. They take the rush of nerves and transform it into laser-focused action. When you build a life where your ambitions are louder than your anxiety, you become a magnet for opportunity, challenge, and respect. Every breakthrough is born from moments of tension, when courage is required, when stakes get high, and when most turn back. The greatest stories are written by those who chose ambition over security, who let their vision become the map for their life's direction. You don't need certainty. You need conviction and the ability to make your goals non-negotiable. Surround yourself with reminders of your greatness. Visualize it until it's more real than any limitation. Fear is natural. What matters is whether you serve it or command it. Champions invite fear, sit at the table with it, and use it to get sharper, faster, and more hungry. They attack every day with the intent to expand their vision, refusing to pare down their goals just to avoid discomfort. When you make your ambition the loudest voice in your life, you build momentum that bulldozes every barrier. Make it your mission to elevate your vision. Let your desires set the standard and let every fear become a cue for explosive growth. Champions rise because their ambition refuses to let fear make decisions. Train yourself to be obsessed with winning, relentless in pursuit, and unshakable in conviction. When your vision becomes bigger than every doubt and hesitation, there's no limit to what you can create, conquer, and become. Champions run toward challenges. Fear is fuel, not a barrier. In a world of comfort, seekers, and risk-averse minds, the difference between those who win and those who watch is clear. True winners crave the fire. The crowd will always seek shelter from discomfort, hesitating at the edge of uncertainty, convinced that fear should be avoided at all costs. But champions know the truth. Every great leap begins at the point of greatest intimidation. They don't sidestep obstacles, they sprint straight at them, eyes locked on the breakthrough, waiting on the other side. Here's your hook. Imagine what would happen if you stopped recoiling from every tough moment and instead attacked them with hunger and intensity. Most look for shortcuts around difficulty. Real contenders make difficulty their training ground. Every challenge becomes the battlefield where their willpower is sharpened, their confidence multiplied, and their legend built. Champions see fear as a sign of proximity to greatness. If it feels risky, if it stretches comfort, if it makes the body hesitate, that's exactly where progress lies. Fear is nothing but untapped energy. The best performers recognize it, harness it, and turn it into momentum. Instead of freezing up, instead of waiting for inspiration, they make a conscious decision to lean into the discomfort. Champions treat fear like rocket fuel, a tool that accelerates every move, every speech, every deal, every pursuit. The rush of adrenaline becomes a signal to focus harder, chase faster, and commit more fully. They know the odds may be stacked, the road unknown, but their obsession is to see what lies beyond the limits others accept. Here's another hook. Every time your instincts urge you to retreat, flip the script. Run toward the challenge with reckless intent. You'll be amazed how quickly growth appears. Most competitors sabotage their success by letting nerves turn into hesitation. Winners do the opposite. They let nerves turn into fire. They accept anxiety as proof they're pursuing something meaningful and use it as motivation to outpace the crowd. Every hard moment is proof you're playing in the big leagues, exactly where legends are forged. Running toward challenge also means controlling the narrative. Champions decide what danger means to them. It's not a threat, it's opportunity in disguise. When the average see barriers as dead ends, winners see them as invitations to show what they're made of. That's the mindset that creates separation from the pack. This is why, over time, the world starts to notice the ones who take bold risks, who never shrink at adversity, and who always choose action when fear tempts retreat. Make fear your fuel and challenge your necessity. Do not let comfort keep you compliant or small. Do not let anxiety freeze your mission. Treat every difficult circumstance like the next level of your evolution, daring yourself to go further, harder, and faster than you ever have. Champions are remembered not for avoiding obstacles, but for dominating them. Be ruthless in your pursuit. Move with urgency toward what scares you, and keep stacking victories every time you break through a barrier most wouldn't even approach. This is how you convert fear into power and how you transform your life from ordinary to legendary. Champions run toward challenges. Fear is fuel, not a barrier. In a world full of people dodging discomfort, making excuses, and seeking shortcuts, champions stand apart by craving the fight. They recognize that facing tough moments, making bold moves, and risking failure are the very experiences that build true strength and transform ordinary ambition into lasting achievement. Fear doesn't paralyze winners, it sharpens their focus, ignites their passion, and drives them to demonstrate their worth every day. Every obstacle becomes a proving ground, turning raw nerves into raw power. Here's the hook. Imagine doubling the intensity with which you pursue your goals, not in spite of fear, but because of it. Most people let anxiety stop them before they even begin. The crowd will watch challenges from the safety of their comfort, whispering to themselves that maybe, someday, they'll be ready. Champions treat every challenge as an invitation to go beyond limits. When fear whispers, "You shouldn't," they respond, "I must." Every surge of adrenaline signals that you are exactly where you belong, at the crossroads of growth and greatness. Fear is nothing more than energy waiting to be harnessed. The best competitors know how to grab that energy and use it as momentum. They train their brains to respond to fear as a call to arms, a promise of something extraordinary on the other side. Champions don't turn away from what intimidates them. They create rituals that turn every intimidating moment into a reason to press harder. Whether it's stepping into the ring, taking the stage, or launching an idea into the unknown, the presence of fear means you're playing the biggest game. Here's another hook. What would your results look like if fear became your launch pad instead of your leash? Next time your pulse quickens, your stomach knots, or your mind starts inventing ways to retreat, push yourself forward. Everyone else slows down and searches for guarantees, waiting until confidence falls into their lap. Champions act before comfort arrives. Every day, they seek out situations that test their resolve. And when their instincts say, run, they run right at the challenge. Fearless ambition is not about absence of nerves, it's the skill of converting tension into tenacity. Champions transform risk into dominance, knowing that every time they face down a barrier, they grow. Over time, they develop a reputation for being unbreakable, willing to face what others fear and hungry for growth wherever it lies. They understand that icons are made on the edge of danger, not in the middle of caution. Your life changes dramatically when you treat every challenge as mandatory training, not an optional hardship. The crowd will always advocate for playing safe. If you want to lead, you must attack everything that scares you, amplify your ambition in the presence of risk, and keep hunting victory through struggle. Make fear your advisor, not your jailer. Give yourself permission to run toward the hardest battles. Let your actions shout your courage, and celebrate every win you earn in the fire. Champions are measured by their willingness to chase challenge. That's how you become unstoppable. Bold actions attract bold rewards. Timid efforts deliver average results. If you want greatness, you can't tiptoe through life hoping for extraordinary wins while making cautious, half-hearted moves. The universe doesn't reward those who hesitate. Champions understand this truth at a core level only by stepping up with relentless energy, clear intent, and fearless commitment can you shift your trajectory and claim results that set you apart. The crowd spends their energy conserving, strategizing how to avoid embarrassment, and searching for safety. But those who get remembered, those who leave legacies, are the ones who pour everything into their moves, leaving no room for regret or second guessing. Here's the hook. Imagine if every decision you made was backed by conviction, every step forward charged with aggressive ambition. While most people settle for passive progress, the bold make things happen. When you go all in, you invite opportunity to find you. People notice when you act, not when you talk. Every bold move you take creates ripples. Opportunities multiply, networks expand, and momentum builds. Timid efforts might avoid failure, but they guarantee invisibility. Big risks mean big rewards, sometimes unexpected ones, but always transformative. Champions know that success demands courage. You have to launch yourself at your goals with urgency, ready to absorb setbacks, but always reaching for what's beyond safe. When you hesitate, when you let fear drive your decisions, you shrink both your dreams and your outcomes. Those who act fearlessly make quick decisions, seize advantage before doubts creep in, and rarely suffer the regret of missed chances. The world belongs to those who lead with boldness. Play it safe, and you remain one of many. Act decisively, and you set standards, attract allies, and unlock doors that remain hidden to the tentative. Here's another hook. Think of every breakthrough you admire: innovation, influence, wealth, legacy. None of it was handed to the cautious. It was wrestled from adversity by those who launched bold efforts. Champions force the world's attention with decisive moves. They don't wait for guarantees or perfect conditions. They create opportunities by betting on their own abilities when others are still weighing odds. Timidity breeds stagnation, while boldness breeds movement, progress, and satisfaction. To build a reputation for greatness, you must get comfortable living at the edge, making choices that terrify the crowd, investing in yourself even when the returns are uncertain, and pressing forward when logic tells you to wait. Champions don't count the dangers, they count the possibilities. They know the pain of effort is temporary, but the pain of what if lasts forever. Bold actions define your influence. Every time you step up and make a strong move, people reassess you. You inspire confidence, command respect, and open opportunities. Momentum comes to those who act first, push hardest, and refuse to dilute their ambition for comfort. Timid efforts go unnoticed, boldness becomes legend. The more you push, the more the universe pushes back with rewards. sometimes instantly, sometimes when you least expect it, but always more than the passive ever dare dream. Make it your daily commitment to pursue boldness. Attack projects with energy, speak your vision, invest in action over caution. Test your limits, ignore average, and let your moves broadcast your hunger for victory. Champions recognize timid efforts for what they are, missed chances. Bold actions are the language of winners, and bold rewards are theirs to claim. Ignore the crowd's limitations. Set your own standards and refuse to play small. The truth is, mediocrity is contagious, and most people are conditioned to follow the script handed to them by others. They observe the habits, beliefs, and expectations of the crowd, then unconsciously adopt these limitations as their own. Champions don't participate in that cycle. Instead, they operate on a different frequency, one where ambition is self-defined and results are measured by their vision, not the world's approval. The masses will always try to keep you comfortable, predictable, and realistic. They want consistency, not greatness. But you weren't called to fit in. You were built to rise far above anything others believe is possible. Here's your hook. Imagine the shift in your life if every time someone tried to box you in or dismiss your goals as too much, you saw it as confirmation you were on the right track. Most people seek validation from the crowd and bend their standards to avoid standing out. Champions do the opposite. They set their own rules, their own tempo, their own definition of success. When the crowd zigs, you zag. You don't let their fear of risk, criticism, or failure infect your drive. Their caution is evidence that you're living boldly and refusing to play small. Every great leap begins with the decision to create your own standards. When you stop measuring your progress by the crowd's yardstick, your trajectory accelerates. Winners refuse to lower the bar just to calm the insecurities of those around them. If you want massive results, you must become immune to collective hesitation. Build habits that reinforce your uniqueness. Surround yourself with evidence of greatness, not reminders of limitations. Here's another hook. Champions treat the opinions of the crowd as background noise, never as guidance. They know that if everyone's comfortable with your ambition, you're not dreaming big enough. High performers set targets that get people talking, goals the crowd secretly envies but publicly doubts. The only approval you need is your own. Create a plan so audacious that the world has no choice but to notice, then execute it so fiercely they're forced to respect it. Limiting beliefs are like shackles. Every time you choose to ignore them, you add power, freedom, and velocity to your mission. Champions adopt routines that amplify their confidence and feed their hunger. When negativity appears, they don't trade their vision for group acceptance. They understand that fitting in is the fastest way to shrink the legacy they're building. Make your ambition so bold, your standards so high, that anyone daring to limit you feels out of place. Let your daily choices reflect your intent to be extraordinary and your refusal to play small. Create rituals that reinforce personal greatness from your discipline, your environment, your goals. Block out the crowd's limitations and remind yourself every single day you set the rules, you define the game, and you were never meant to shrink your potential for anyone's comfort. Champions never wait for permission from the crowd. They blaze their own trail, break their own records, and hold themselves to standards the world can barely comprehend. To dominate, you must tune out noise, set your own vision, and play so big that mediocrity flees in your presence. The crowd's limitations are their problem, never yours. Refuse to let them hold you back for even a moment. Set your own standards, play your own game, and the world will have no choice but to watch what greatness truly looks like. Every risk you take builds confidence. Comfort destroys greatness. Risk creates legacy. Most people spend their entire lives guarding against risk, convinced security will deliver happiness. They cling to comfort, tiptoe through opportunities, and make decisions that play it safe instead of play to win. Champions understand the game differently. They recognize that each risk is a step of growth, a lesson in leadership, and a milestone in becoming unbreakable. True confidence emerges when you push past the protective shell of what you know, when you lean into uncertainty and declare to the world, I'll figure this out. Here's the hook. Imagine what you would achieve if you started craving the thrill of risk, treating every venture into the unknown as a new chapter of personal power. Champions search for moments that terrify the crowd, knowing those experiences will force them to adapt, rethink, and evolve. Risk is a mirror. It reflects what you're willing to give in exchange for what you want. Confidence is not a gift handed out by fortune. It's earned through bruises, setbacks, and victories won at the edge of comfort. When you take a risk, you learn to trust yourself in ways comfort could never teach. You analyze, decide, act, and adjust, all with skin in the game. Every risk is like a workout for your faith in your ability to overcome. Champions don't expect perfection, they expect growth. Success means stumbling, learning, and then coming back smarter and harder. This kind of confidence layers over time until your presence changes the atmosphere in the room, until your reputation opens doors that fear could only keep closed. Here's another hook. Look at every person whose influence and wealth you respect. Their stories are packed with bold moves, gambles, and challenges. Playing it safe leads nowhere new. Taking risks teaches you how to handle setbacks, navigate transitions, and build unstoppable resilience. With every challenge, you prove to yourself and to the world that greatness is won in the trenches, not in the comfort zone. Champions make risk their daily ritual because they understand that fortune only favors those bold enough to reach for it. Comfort is seductive, but it's also the slow death of ambition. It feeds doubt, allows mediocrity to creep in, and erases the hunger for more. Champions build legacies precisely because they don't sit still. They're addicted to progress, willing to leap without a net, certain that their efforts will pay dividends in lessons, strength, and eventually unshackable success. The world remembers the risk takers. No history is written about the masses who did only what felt easy. Make it your mission to chase risk, to challenge yourself to venture where others retreat. With every risk taken, retrain your mind to celebrate growth, not just outcomes. Fear fades with every leap, and confidence multiplies every time you prove to yourself that you're bigger than your anxiety. Risk is the currency of legacy, the hallmark of those who succeed endlessly. Let comfort be the warning signal that you need to move. Greatness can only ever be found outside the boundaries of comfort. Make risk your ally and watch your confidence become legendary and your impact undeniable. Fearless ambition means attacking every day with intent. Be relentless, make your future undeniable. Most people drift through life passively, taking whatever each day gives and hoping that something remarkable will happen by chance. The truth is, winners never leave their future up to luck. Champions wake up every morning with a war plan. They attack their goals with laser intent, refusing to surrender their time and energy to distractions or emergencies. Relentlessness becomes their signature. They approach each day as a battlefield where their ambition sets the pace, their discipline sets the standard, and their intent sets the outcome. Here's the hook. Imagine the results if you stopped existing and started attacking life with the same intensity as a champion. No more, maybe. No more waiting for the right mood. Drive yourself forward every single day, no matter the setbacks or noise. Champions create momentum through daily choices, waking up before sunrise, investing extra hours, outperforming yesterday's best, and refusing to be satisfied with anything less than progress. Their intent is visible. Every move, every word, every investment in themselves cries out that greatness is non-negotiable. Relentlessness is an energy that multiplies your progress. Most people quit too early at the first sign of challenge, boredom, or fatigue. Champions ignore fatigue because their ambition is louder. They plan their day, identify priority targets, and execute until their vision sharpens into reality. When setbacks arrive, they accelerate rather than retreat. Intent gives you the power to ignore distractions and put your effort exclusively where it matters, on what builds your legacy. Here's another hook. Your future is shaped by the attack mode you bring to every single day. Champions don't hope to be noticed. They create a force so undeniable that doors open and opportunities flood in, sometimes even faster than they anticipated. This relentless intent turns obstacles into mile markers and every achievement into just the next step. Each day becomes fuel for a bigger tomorrow. Every action stacks momentum, builds self-belief, and shouts to the world that hesitance is not in your vocabulary. Those with fearless ambition don't make excuses, they make decisions. Average performers let emergencies set their priorities. Winners protect their focus, block out the background noise, and choose what gets their attention. They sharpen their skills and raise their standards every day. Relentless people know the clock is ticking. They make every minute count and attack life with urgency, knowing their time is too expensive to be wasted. The crowd pursues comfort. You must pursue intent. Attack each day as if your name and legacy depend on it, because they do. Let your ambition guide your mornings, your discipline build your afternoons, and your vision direct your evenings. Be relentless. Don't stop at obstacles. Don't plateau at progress. Push, press, expand, and elevate every aspect of yourself and your journey. When you attack life daily with intent, you make your future impossible to ignore. Fearless ambition is not just a mindset, it's the engine behind champions, history makers, and legends. Make it your reality. The world waits for people willing to push beyond the safe line. Fearless ambition rewrites every standard and transforms every setback into proof of dominance. Commit now to the chase. Attack your goals without hesitation. Never let fear slow your pace. And let your ambition shine so bright it blinds the doubters. This is how legends live. Be bold, be relentless, and make your ambition the reason the world stands up and takes notice. The ones who dare without fear, who chase big dreams regardless of risk, are the ones who make history, and it's your turn to join them.